Hey everybody, it's Peggy here. I'm back with another video, and today's video is a little bit, I'm just going to be an asshole today. Can I just say leave your fucking ego at the door? Can I just start with that? Can I just start with leave your fucking ego at the door? So, this is Etsy specific. I don't know about other platforms. I don't really care about other platforms. I'm an Etsy fan, and it's the only place I do business. I know a lot of the information that I'd like to try and provide and the stuff that we talk about on these videos can be helpful for other platforms, but today is all about Etsy. Leave your fucking ego at the door. Okay, so Etsy is beginner town, and that's a great, amazingly fucking great thing. It is. If you don't have a lot of experience, Etsy is a great place to start. It comes with a built-in search engine, which can get you some attention. There's ways to get attention on that. There's ways to get good attention. There's ways to get bad attention, but you can start off slow. Setting up a shop is pretty easy. You fill in the information that matters to you and what you're doing, that applies to what you're doing. You ignore the rest. There's a bunch of information that you can ignore while you're setting up your shop. And if I ever get around to setting myself up properly, maybe I will go through it. A lot of the information, you only have to do it once and you never have to do it again, so I wouldn't be able to show you that. But anyway, you don't need a lot of experience to set up a shop. You set up your details. You wait. There's a short process where you have to prove who you are. Then then your shop is open. You're good to go. You create your listing. You put your listing up. You fill in the details. You put up a price, and you sit back and you go, "Give me the money," and it's pretty fucking easy. It's really easy to share your shop link, copy, paste. That's easy enough. They even have a little thing. Click this, and then you just paste it into email to all your friends and below. Hey guys, look what I did. If you still want that stuff from me, here's where you can go and buy it. You can do whatever you want. Okay, Etsy is beginner town. Now, if you have some business experience, that's great. It'll give you a bit of a leg up. I started off with a bit of customer service experience. That was really great. I knew from the get-go how to talk to people, and if people want, hey, do you do this? Hey, can I have that? Oh, hey, this is a bit of a problem. Can we resolve it? So I already had all those skills behind me, but the actual business 101 skills, not really. My wife set up my account for me because she has some business skills, so that made it easier. And then I was like, oh, should I put this in here? Okay, Etsy is beginner town, and it's great for beginners. And then you get some asshole walking in. I'm a business professional. It's like, then what the fuck you doing here? This is for beginners. What the fuck? And they come in with their attitude, because if I say they come in just... Anyway, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. I'll get banned. So, and you can't talk reason to them. Can't talk reason to them at all. Oh, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Well, I've optimized my SEO, and there's no fucking reason why I shouldn't be getting 100 sales a week right now. Etsy sucks. This is bullshit. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You're competing with 7.5 million other sellers who are also optimizing their SEO every day of the fucking week. Well, that's not my problem. Etsy sucks. I know what I'm doing. As a business professional, I know what I'm doing, and I should be making 100 sales a week right now, and Etsy sucks. Etsy's obviously got some significant problems. If somebody with a little bit of experience can't walk in and make money from day one, it's like, you're a fucking idiot. This is what I'm going to keep saying over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, park your ego at the door, because I will tell you right now, those people, they come in, they swing their dicks around, they get themselves in trouble, they get a bad reputation, and they're fucking gone. They're fucking gone, and nobody wants to help them. And then they start all over the social medias. I'm so special, I'm so awesome, oh my God, you should do this, you should do that. Oh, if a customer does this, just tell them to fuck off. That's what I do. And it's like, you're not going to be here long, buddy. You're giving people advice that's more likely to get them shut down than anything, and then they come, I'm a business professional. Well, I don't know why so many people, well, they said they're a business professional, I should do what they do. It's like, well, don't do that. Don't kiss ass, because we also get that. I'm a business professional, and as a business professional, the customer is always right, no matter what. It's like, you've replaced the same thing for the same guy 5 times now, and right now and he's, story time. Okay, there's this woman that came in because she was a business professional. Yeah, I say they come in swinging their dick around, and I'll tell you right now, it's mostly women. It's mostly women that come in with this fucking attitude. So maybe they're swinging their boobs around. I don't know. Whatever offensive visual I can create today. Anyway, she came in. This is how you do it. This is how professional businesses operate. This is how you should do it. This is how you should do it. Well, she'd worked at like Sears for 40 years. It's like Sears is bankrupt for a fucking reason, okay? You give the customer what, and she had. This happened not too long after I started on Etsy. So it's got to be 3.5, 4 years ago now, right? And she is just telling everybody how customer service works. And then but at the same time, she's also going, I just can't believe it. This person is just so unhappy. I've replaced their product like 4 or 5 different times now, and they're just still not happy and want me to send another one. I mean, some people are just so hard to please. And it's like, and it turns out, what the fuck was she selling again? I forget what she was selling. It was something pricey, like gold chains. I forget what it was. Maybe it was earrings or something. Sets of earrings. Something. Let's just say it was sets of earrings for like 50, 60 bucks. Okay, because I'm bad at remembering what the exact product was, but I'm pretty good at remembering what the price points were. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. Don't judge me. Anyway, so she's like telling everybody what a professional she is, because I mean, on social media, you comment here, you comment here, you comment. This was a long time ago. I was in a completely different group, because Lord knows. Anyway, so she's like. It was something that came in a set. I remember that. It was something that came in a set. Okay, so we will say earrings. So she's like, well, I sent them a pack of earrings, and one of the earrings had a bent post, and they really weren't very happy with me, and so I just sent them a whole new pack. But then they kept getting the next one also had a bent post, so I sent them another pack. And oh my God, I'm just having such the worst luck, because even that one, I mean, I think there's a problem with my packaging. They keep showing up with a bent post, or I think it was a bent post. Like I said, it was something really, really simple that was not a problem. Like, okay, if your earrings post, unless your earrings post is cracked, you can straighten them back out, right? So she is sending this person package after package after package. And I'm trying to think back, but I think she was one of those people that also included lots of freebies and stuff. And people are telling her, like, this is a scam of opportunity, where they say they need a replacement, and you just make it so freaking easy that they just say, oh, well, there's a problem with this one, I need it. And they just get as many as you'll give them. I guess it's not really a scam. It's a legitimate buyer who senses an opportunity. So it's still opportunistic, right? Well, because she had been all over the social medias about the customer's always right no matter what, that somebody spotted her, ordered a set of earrings. Like I said, I can't remember exactly. It may have been earrings, but I can't remember the actual product. And she had sent out 4 or 5 sets to this person and was still willing to send them more. And while lecturing everybody, oh, well, when the customer says this, and you should do this, and you should do this, and you should do this. And it was like, because she wouldn't leave her ego at the door. It's like, as people, and like, I mean, I've got like, by the time you add it all up, I've got like close to 35 years of customer service experience of all flavors. In person, online, retail, wholesale, the works, right? And I said to her, I have never seen a customer service environment where bending over backwards. As a matter of fact, I used to work on the Sears credit card. That was a frustrating experience. No wonder, I know why they're bankrupt. My God, they were a bad company. Anyway. I can say that now because they're not around anymore and can't sue me. Anyway, so she's going off on people who have customer service experience, and like I'm like, you cannot just automatically assume that the customer's right no matter what they're saying or no matter what they're asking you for. This person is taking advantage of you and your kindness. No, that's not it. That's not what good customer service is all about. You just need to give them what they want. Blah, 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 blah. And she's just getting up in her snobby little feels because she was super snobby, right? I mean, and anybody with customer service experience knows how this works. And it's like anybody with customer service experiences knows when they're being ripped off, right? Couldn't talk sense to her. But yeah, this woman came in this woman showed up telling other people what customer service is supposed to look like while actively and ongoing being ripped off. This went on for like 2 or 3. Don't forget, this takes time. You put your package in the mail, you have to wait for it to arrive, then they contact you. This went on for weeks. While she's over there in other comments in the same group giving customer service advice, and people are telling her, like, what are you doing? You're not doing this right. Leave your fucking ego at the door. If this woman had left her ego at the door, she would have said no to the scammer. But okay, somebody says, oh, there's a problem with my product. It's good customer service to replace it if you can. That's fine. That makes sense, right? To continue doing it, So people were pointing out to her, like, look, you sell this as multiples, and like I said, we're saying earrings because I can't remember what it was. By now, you have given her at least 2 of every single thing that you make. She has 2, even if she's telling the truth about these posts being bent, and she's not, she has got 2 of everything that is in functional working order, and you're still willing to send her more. And she got livid. She got so fucking mad because people were telling her how to do business, and she knows, don't you know, because. So leave your ego at the door, because it makes you 1000% immune to useful advice, good advice, helpful advice, and it makes any advice that you give just not worth taking. If I were to have believed that early on, I mean, and there's people that did believe it early on. It's like, oh, I'll go, okay, good customer service, yada, yada, yada. Why am I getting ripped off all the time? Well, because you're an idiot. Okay, so leaving your ego at the door is important. It's really important. I've learned a lot. I've got a lot of customer service experience. I learned a lot about online sales. I learned a lot about what to do, not to do. Okay, so that's just one story. One story from one person that was a really obvious example. She tried her best to be nice about it, and it was, you could just hear it. You could just hear it. I don't need to listen to you because I know better. I don't need to listen to you because I know better. Meanwhile, she's out like almost $300 in product that she wasn't probably, I don't think she was selling it for a very big profit margin to begin with, because I think that was something else that she was doing. But anyway, people come in with a preconceived idea of what it is to run an online business and do not accept the fact that they are beginners. They do not accept the fact that they are on a beginner platform, a beginner-friendly platform. And other platforms may or may not be beginner-friendly. I don't know. I haven't tried them, so don't take my word on where the beginner label begins and ends. So it's like, oh, I'm going to come in, I'm going to sell on Etsy, and I'm going to take over the fucking world because I know everything. Well, no, you don't. You can walk in, start your shop, and do amazing and make $1 million. That's possible. That's absolutely possible. But if you are immune to all help, all advice, all information that might help you if there's a problem, and most of us do have some degree of that happening at least at some point. And I don't know how to express it. This is not a negative thing that happens. I came in with a lot of experience in certain areas, so I was really, really comfortable there, and not very much experience at all when it comes to running the actual platform, the actual behind the scenes, right? So I'm like, okay, this is what I know. This is what I don't know. This is where I can use help. This is where I'm probably okay, but I'll keep an eye on what's going on just in case I spot something that's useful. And that is how you should approach Etsy or any other platform. Come in, know what you know. Awesome, awesome. Know what you know. But don't be so hung up on what you know that you're not willing to learn from anybody else. Because unless you have run your own website, or been on, or maybe if you're coming over from another platform, actually, even if you are, Etsy has their own house rules. And in the wonderful world of e-commerce, Etsy's house rules can trump any other rule that you could imagine, because they don't have to play. They have the right to do it. They have the right to do or not do business with anybody they want, and they don't need to give a reason. Which means Etsy can say, we don't tolerate this, and if you don't like it, too fucking bad. There's a door if you don't like it. Nobody's forcing you to join the platform, but Etsy can most certainly ask you to leave if there's a problem. People lose their shops over these attitudes because other people come in. Okay, this lady is not going to lose her shop. She's generous to a fault. She's not going to make any money, but she won't lose her shop. She always says yes, blah 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 blah. But she never learned the nuances. So whether she's still around or not, I have no idea. But initially, at least, she wasn't making any money. She was ripe for the picking, right? Other people come in, and they will go to war over every fucking dollar. Every fucking dollar. And so, yeah, they're not necessarily going to last long, because if they have no nuance, Nuance is where you know the difference, right? Like if you're putting if I'm putting a $1 sticker in the mail with a $1 stamp, and that goes missing, and I'm willing to go to fucking war over that, that's a waste of my time, and it's a waste of the customer's time. And if I'm being hostile to the customers, well, it's my business and I can make it any way I want. And if I had a storefront and somebody came in treating me that way, I tell them to fuck off, so I can tell them to fuck off on Etsy. No, you can't. You'll lose your shop. I should be allowed to sell copyright because I don't agree with Disney making $1 billion a year. It's like Etsy's House Rules says that if there's a complaint that they're going to shut you down, and Etsy and Disney caught you and complained, so they're shutting you down. There is no loophole for this shit. There is no loophole for somebody's house rules. I use this as an example all the time. If my house rule is take your shoes off when you come in, right? So if you don't, I don't have to invite you back. Etsy has their house rules. No matter how much you think you know, there's still things you don't know, right? Okay. So we get these people coming in all the fucking time. Oh, Etsy sucks because they did this. Etsy sucks because they did that. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you suck because you're coming in with your preconceived ideas, with this level of arrogance that is not even remotely relatable to the fact that this is a platform that is very, very specially suited to newbies. And you're trying to, but I'm an expert, your way through everything. You're immune to help. You're immune to advice. And sooner or later, you're going to lose your shop because you're doing things wrong. And like I said, some people, like the first lady in my example, she was making some huge freaking mistakes. And she was not giving out advice. Some of her advice was good advice, but most of her advice was like, just paint a bullseye on your back and go jump around in the street for all the good it's going to do you to listen to her. Because, like I said, she was generous. Being generous is always good in business, but being generous to your own detriment, where you're being paid $50 for a product and then sending out $250 at your own expense, so $250 plus shipping to replace the same product over and over and over and over and over again because the customer's always right and you believe that with every fiber of your being. It's like you're not willing to learn, you're not willing to grow, you're not willing to take on a new experience. So, and we've had the opposite. We've had the I don't give a shit what happened to the package. I'm not replacing anything. My policies say no replacements, and I will not. My policy is no refunds, and I will not replace anything, no matter what. I wouldn't do it if I had a store, I wouldn't do it. So I'm certainly not fucking doing it here. It's like Etsy policies say otherwise, asshole, and you are so immune to advice that you're going to eventually lose your shop over it. So does a little bit of confidence go a long way? Abso-fucking-lutely. Sometimes even a little bit of arrogance goes a long way. Abso-fucking-lutely. But park your ego at the door. Because if you think that you already know everything before you even walk in the door, you're going to be in for a nasty surprise. You really are. Because, well, I guess maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But if you walk in thinking that you know everything, then even if you're making a fundamental mistake, you will not be able to believe it, recognize it, or deal with it. Because you're going to be so hung up and stuck in your own head that you're going to be immune to all advice and good ideas. So anyway, so yeah, so I've seen people like the first lady who are generous to a fault and get taken advantage of, and she's not going to have a good time on Etsy. I have no idea what ultimately did or didn't happen to her. She kind of disappeared, of course, because, but I've seen people that come in and they've got they've got the other kind of ego. They've got the, I know everything and I'm going to run this place in 5 weeks. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. I know everything and nobody else knows what they're doing. So I'm just going to tell you guys how it's going to be. There's one guy, I think I eventually kicked him out of my group because every time somebody mentioned copyright for any reason whatsoever, he would come back and go, "Oh, I know how to legally do copyright." And if anybody wants to know how to legally make sure that legally force Etsy to let you sell copyrighted material, blah blah blah, I can show you how. It's like, you're an idiot. Get the fuck out. Etsy's House Rules don't support this, and there's no law that lets you force Etsy to do anything. It's like, because he was an expert. I'm an expert. I've been doing this for 45 years, and and it's like, which is awesome. I've been doing customer service of some flavor or of another for at least 35 years. That's fine. If somebody says, how would you handle this? It's like, well, in person I'd handle it this way, but online I'm not so sure. Let's see what other people are saying their success stories are. So I've learned that's part of the reason why I hit the socials is like, okay, well, this is how I would do customer service, and I'm not familiar with selling online. I've worked behind the scenes at a couple of websites, but not with the marketing and the dispute resolution. Yeah, I've done it. I mean, I've done customer service of some flavor or another for like a long time now, like at least 35 years. But that doesn't mean I know everything. That's why I hit the social medias, because it was like, okay, I know how I would deal with something when I was working for Sears on their credit card, because they had a policy, and it's like, okay, well, if something goes wrong, it's not my money I'm spending, but now it's my money I'm spending. So let me just figure out how this works on the small scale, on the small screen, right? So, yeah, that's my rant. Leave your ego at the door. And we all bring skills with us. We all bring something of value with us. It's okay to have a little bit of ego. I'm bringing something of value. This is fucking awesome. This isn't about bringing something of value to the table, because we all bring something of value to the table. This is about bringing your ego to the table in a way that makes you immune to everything else that's going on. Especially if it's like, I'm an expert. If it's like, then why are you on Etsy? If you're already an expert, then why are you here? You're here because you're new. You're here because you're gaining experience in how online stuff works. Or you're here because you think you're such a fucking expert that as soon as you open your shop, that 90 plus million Etsy sellers are going to be lined up, falling all over themselves to buy your product. And that's just not how it fucking works. So, yeah, and God knows I'm known for my fucking ego. I am known for my ego. So yeah, I know whereof I know wherefore I speak, whereof I speak. I forget what that word is. Very Shakespearean shit. Anyway. I may actually edit this one. I don't know. I may edit it. I may not. I've been coughing, so who the fuck knows? Anyway. So preconceived ideas, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're open-minded enough to be willing to change those ideas as you gain more and more experience in how this particular form of online selling works. Now, like I said, if you're working the back end, if you're working for Amazon in their back end, that's a completely different monster. That's completely different. It's just not the same when it's your money on the table. And people want to walk in to that environment with these other, they want to bring old attitudes from other environments with them, drop it on the table, announce themselves to be an expert, and then they're all shocked Pikachu face when things aren't going their way, because things will not go your way. And there are people that show up on the scene, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and people are going, oh, I think you'll have more success if you try this. No, I'm a business professional. I know how these things work. There's no way that would work. It's like, okay. And then they have a problem, especially if you're in the kind of environment where people start getting used to you, if you're interacting and stuff, because a lot of people that are walking in with that kind of ego are all over the social media going, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. I'm an expert. Let me tell you how this is done. And then when they need help, people are like, no, and just ignore them. I've seen it happen. I've seen really active groups, almost every comment, 200 comments, and these asshats show up because they've just disrupted, caused mayhem. They've they're like, they've snobbed their way through the entire community. I'm having this issue, and then nobody, and then 2-3 responses. It's like, oh, anyway. I'm gonna let you guys go. This is getting close in on half an hour. I've got 5 minutes left to say goodbye, and we know how that goes. I'll need all 5 of them. Anyway, if you like what you're seeing, ring the bell, do the things, leave a comment below. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. And I know I was a bit of a dick over this one, because talking about ego just creates people up in their ego. I don't do that. Well, I certainly fucking have. That's why I know not to do it. I found out the hard way to leave your ego at the door. And I'm just telling you guys to do the same thing. Be aware. Just be aware. Be aware. And you don't have to be some subservient, oh my God, I just love everything. You're going to come into this with strengths. You're going to come into this with weaknesses. Be aware of that. Don't come into it with a level of arrogance that makes it absolutely clear that no matter what anybody says to you, you think you're already an expert on everything. Because we're all new. We all started out new. We were all new once. And that's just how it goes. And the more willing you are, and you don't have to agree with everything, but the more willing you are to listen and learn, the better off you'll be. But anyway, that door opening is my cue, so I better get going. And I will see you guys later. You guys have a good one. Bye.